Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into something pretty wild.
Definitely.
We're looking at a Marvel property that's, well, it's dark, like really dark and graphic.
Yeah.
And its whole journey, from this cult comic to a big Disney Plus animated show, it's one of the most interesting, maybe kind of strange strategic moves Marvel's pulled off.
It really is. A fascinating case study.
So you asked us for the full story on Marvel Zombies. And believe me, we are going deep today.
Got the sources right here.
Our mission sort of is twofold. First, let's really get a handle on the original comics, the horror, why they were so boundary pushing.
Yeah, the Kurtman stuff.
Exactly. And second, we need to unpack the huge creative and maybe even legal juggling needed to take that story.
A story built on gore and, frankly, despair.
Right. And put it onto Disney Plus as an animated miniseries for, a much wider audience. Coming in 2025.
It's a big ask. So yeah, we've got the comic history, the key infamous moments, and the details on this Disney Plus adaptation, including how they're handling the rating versus the, let's say, visual reality.
Okay, let's start right at the beginning, 2005. Because this isn't your standard zombie outbreak, is it? There's a twist.
No, not at all. And what's really interesting is where it came from. It wasn't like a planned main event initially.
Right, it spun off from something else.
Yeah, exactly. Mark Millar's Ultimate Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, messing around with dimensions.
He does.
As he does. And he accidentally finds this alternate reality, Earth 2149. It got tagged the Zombieverse pretty quick.
And then came the dedicated series, late 2005.
That's the one, written by Robert Kirkman.
Who definitely knows his way around zombies and despair from The Walking Dead.
Absolutely. And art by Sean Phillips. That's the foundation, the stuff people really remember.
So the core concept, what makes it different?
It's the intelligence factor.
Yeah.
The heroes who get infected, Spider-Man, Cap, Hulk, all of them, they change. But
it's still in there.
Exactly. They keep their smarts, their powers, their memories, their personality, sort of. It's just overridden by this hunger.
Which makes it so much worse, right? It's not just fighting monsters. It's seeing heroes become the monsters and know it.
That's the psychological hook. This uncontrollable, all-consuming need for flesh. It's like addiction horror meets superhero tragedy.
Yeah.
They're trapped. They do these horrible things. And then the awareness comes crashing back. The guilt, the self-loathing. It's brutal.
So the comics really leaned into that.
Oh, heavily. Themes of addiction, massive regret, losing who you are. And it wasn't subtle. Lots of black comedy mixed with really graphic gore.
Which is why it stood out so much from regular Marvel comics, from Earth 667.
Oh, totally. It was this dark, twisted corner of the multiverse. That's what gave it that cult following. It was doing things mainstream Marvel just wouldn't touch.
Okay, let's unpack that darkness a bit more. Because the cult status wasn't just about the idea, it was about specific shocking moments, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The sources highlight some truly infamous scenes. They were designed to be shocking.
Like Spider-Man, he gets hit early on.
Yeah, one of the first. And his whole arc is drenched in this awful guilt because, well, he consumes Mary Jane and Aunt May, and he remembers loving them while doing it. Yeah. That's the kind of horror Kirkman was writing.
And it just escalates from there. The Avengers.
They basically lead the zombie charge. They don't fight the plague. They become the plague that wipes out humanity on their Earth. Total inversion.
And then there's the Black Panther story. That one always comes up.
It's probably the most disturbing detail. He's kept alive, but captive.
By Giant Man. Hank Pym.
By a zombified Hank Pym, yeah. And Pym, he uses T'Challa as a sustainable food source. He keeps eating parts of him, which regenerates.
Shinsti, wow. That's not just gore. That's prolonged psychological torture.
Yeah.
Using a hero like livestock.
Exactly. It's that elevation beyond just violence into something truly degrading. Very rare for Marvel, even in alternate realities.
And there were others too, right? Little visceral moments.
Plenty. Like Zombie Wasp getting decapitated, but her head stays sentient, carried around by Giant Man.
Grim.
Or the Hulk just, devouring enemies whole. Even Wolverine, Mr. Healing Factor himself, eventually gets turned. It showed nobody was safe.
So these stories were deliberately pushing buttons.
For sure. And it fit Marvel's strategy at the time, expanding the multiverse idea. Putting it on Earth 2149 meant they could go really dark.
Without messing up the main Spider-Man or Captain America continuity.
Right. It was a sandbox for mature, extreme storytelling, safe from the main timeline.
Okay, here's the pivot then. We go from that, the captive Black Panther, the head in a jar, the consuming of loved ones, to 2025 Disney Plus file.
Hey, yeah, the big question.
How? How do you possibly translate that vibe, that level of explicit horror and despair for a platform that, still hosts Mickey Mouse, even with a mature rating?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's the tightrope walk Marvel Studios Animation had to figure out.
So the show itself, it's 4 episodes, animated, dropping late 2025.
Yep. Directed by Brian Andrews, written by Zeb Wells, and it picks up from that What If Zombie episode. Remember that one?
Yeah, the cliffhanger. So it's officially part of that continuity.
Seems so. And they're throwing big names at it. Voice actors confirmed, like Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Rudd, Florence Pugh.
David Harbour, Simu Lee.
Yeah.
It's a proper MCU cast.
It signals they're taking it seriously. Though, interestingly, the sources mention it shifted from a movie concept to a series, partly because of Spider-Man rights issues. Always complicated.
Right. Always Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But, okay, the tone, the rating, that's the core issue.
It is. So, significantly, it is Marvel Animation's first TVMA-rated show, mature audiences.
Which sounds right for the source material.
And this is the crucial part. Reports and descriptions suggest they've had to seriously dial back the explicit gore.
So it's rated MA, but visually
Right.
maybe closer to PG-13 territory. Is that the compromise?
That seems to be the strategy, yeah. The TVMA label signals the themes are mature, cannibalism, loss, actual character deaths, the darkness of the concept.
Okay.
But the visuals won't be the relentless stomach-turning stuff from the Kirkman comics. They need it to be, watchable for a broader audience on Disney Plus app. Can't completely alienate everyone.
So the spear is there, the horror concept, the stakes, but maybe less. Viscera. More action, survival, maybe even some dark humor, but not the extreme body horror.
Exactly. It's shifting the focus. Less about the shock of the gore, more about the thrill of survival against these superpowered undead. It's about using the idea of Marvel zombies.
Trying to carve out a darker niche within the MCU that's still palatable for mass consumption.
Precisely. A strategic necessity for that platform, really. You keep the IP, you keep the cool concept, but you adjust the intensity dial.
Speaking of intensity dials turned way up,
Yeah.
we have to talk about the comic climax. After they ate Earth.
Yeah. After they ate Earth.
Only in comics.
They were still hungry, which led them to Galactus. The ultimate escalation. The zombie Galacti. It's kind of the defining moment of that original run's sheer audacity.
So what happens? They just attack him.
Pretty much. The sources describe this chilling sequence where the zombified heroes, having consumed everything on Earth, team up and just overwhelm Galactus. And
They eat the Devourer of Worlds.
they eat the Devourer of Worlds, and in doing so, they absorb his cosmic powers.
Becoming the zombie Galacti. What does that even signify? Besides being terrifying.
It shows the hunger is absolute, it's cosmic, it transcends everything. If Galactus isn't safe, nothing is. It proves the plague isn't just an Earth problem anymore.
It's a multiversal threat.
Exactly, which, fits perfectly with where the MCU is these days anyway. It makes the concept bigger.
Okay, so let's pull back. This whole journey, grimdark comic, rights issues, Disney Plus adaptation, zombie Galacti, what does it all mean for Marvel's big picture? And why are fans so hyped?
Well, the fan excitement comes from a few places, I think. You've got the hardcore comic fans who remember the shock and are curious, maybe a little wary about the adaptation.
Nostalgia, basically.
Yeah, nostalgia for those woe moments. But then you've got the huge MCU audience who maybe only saw the What If episode. For them, it's just a cool, dark twist on characters they know. Seeing Zombie Wanda, Zombie Cap, that's inherently intriguing.
So, Marvel's strategy here.
Yeah.
It's about blending.
It seems like it. Blending that known horror concept, the fan nostalgia, with the need for broad mass market appeal. It's horror light, maybe.
Thrills over genuine terror.
Something like that. Trying to find that sweet spot. Keep the cool factor of the zombies, the action, maybe some of the dark humor, but package it so it still feels like Marvel. Not too alienating.
And the future, if this series does well.
The creators have hinted they've got more stories ready. So yeah, if this lands, we could definitely see more seasons, maybe spin-offs. This could become a permanent dark corner of the MCU.
It really establishes a potential new subgenre for them.
It could. Which brings up a really interesting point for you, the listener, to think about.
Okay.
If Marvel Zombies proves successful by essentially taking extreme source material and softening its visual edges for Disney Plus, using that TVMA rating more for theme than for explicit content,
Yeah.
what does that mean going forward?
Right.
Will we see more dark Marvel stories get adapted this way? Does it inevitably mean diluting the really boundary-pushing stuff from the comics to make it fit the platform? Or is this compromise actually a good thing, allowing these kinds of horror heroism mashups to even exist in the mainstream where they otherwise couldn't?
That's the real tension, isn't it? The original raw horror versus the streamlined, accessible version. It's fascinating.
It is a balancing act.
Whether you read those Kirkman comics back in '05 and remember, Zombie Giant Man's activities.
Yeah, still unsettling.
Or if you're just excited to see Zombie Scarlet Witch on Disney Plus Hack, the whole evolution of Marvel Zombies is quite a story in adaptation and strategy. If you really want to understand the jump they made, maybe look up the specifics of that Spider-Man Guild plotline, or the details of the Giant Man and Black Panther situation from the comics. That really shows you what they started with.
Good call. That context is key.
Well, that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.